Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Corey, aka Blockchain, and I am a full-time professional trader. And I wanted to just make sure I did a quick video for a very exciting announcement. I am actually going to be giving away one of my master classes at the end of this month. It's a $500 value, completely free to you. All you have to do is make sure you comment, subscribe, smash the likes on this video, and you will be entered to win. I will be doing the drawing at the end of the month for one lucky winner, and all you have to do is support my YouTube channel here. So make sure you smash the likes, hit that subscribe button, comment below, and you will have an automatic entry to the free masterclass. And yes, you can do it on multiple videos. So each time you do it on one of my videos, it will give you an entry. So the more, the better. So again, guys, smash the likes, hit that subscribe, ring that little bell, comment below, and good luck. And let's go ahead and dive into the charts. What's going on, everybody? It is Blockchain coming at you with another Bitcoin technical analysis update. For those of you new to my channel, we're starting off real quick on blockchaintatrading.com. Real quick, just want to highlight a little about me. I'm primarily an Elliott wave trader that uses other indicators and strategies to really complement my technical analysis and trade setups. But if you jump onto the website and hit this little get in touch, make sure you get in there and actually get my #1 trading strategy. It's completely free. I'll send you a video demonstration and a walkthrough of my #1 strategy that is consistent and profitable and reliable that you can use on any market. So make sure you jump on there and get that. Of course, you can get some of the blockchain gear, and then Discord with a big bonus, a 14-day trial for just 25 bucks. Pretty sweet. It's normally $97 a month, so you can get in there and see what it's all about. Of over 1,000 traders and a handful of professional traders, so you actually get to trade alongside with them, see their setups and their technical analysis as well. And then, of course, the big one for this month, I'm actually giving away my masterclass completely free. It's actually, once everything else said and done, with the trading and psychology course and everything that's in there, it's another 6 modules. It's over a $500 value, so make sure you guys comment, subscribe, smash the likes, and yeah, get a free entry for that free masterclass. So all right, let's go ahead and dive into the chart real quick. And then with it just being a weekly, just starting off on the weekly level, with it being Friday and everything, just kind of roughly see where we are. And actually, we're holding a pretty strong level, at the moment. So with these past few weeks, it's just been on a pretty solid tear. And then a couple of things I want to look at in regards to the overall structure. One thing that we could potentially be looking at is this, overall is a potential B wave right here in the middle, meaning that we would come up and then ultimately correct back down. You can see that we did break our R2 resistance on the week. Next point of resistance on the weekly is up here at 18.6. So that's a zone that we'd want to pay attention to. If this would be a B wave coming up, then this would be a C. Basically, what I would mean by that is, let me go ahead and put it on here real quick. Basically, this would be an A down, and a B up, and then a C back down. And then right here in the middle, we would have another 3-way structure of an A, a B, and then a C up. So if we just pull fibs right here on, oops, where am I? So if we pull a trend-based fib, you're going to see, like, right in the middle, we're not really anywhere near anything, kind of just right in the middle of nowhere land. So a couple points that we'd want to pay attention to is right here, the 1.236, and right up here on the R3, which is also the 1.382. Lines up fairly nicely, looking at 18.6. So those would be my next points that I would be looking at on a higher time scale for us to tag. And if we do have, let's go and pull a couple off of this guy here. Let's see. Yeah, so we do have the 1.618. So a couple things that we could be looking at on this guy in regards to this overall would be a 3-wave structure. making this an A, a B, and a C. Where we're at right now, I'm not a big fan of it, being a C wave just because of how extended it would be. I'm more leaning along the lines of it being a third wave, meaning this is your one, this is your two. We're coming up for the third, and then the fourth, and then we would have a fifth, which would ultimately it would break this R3 zone if we had a fifth wave, because the 1.618 is normally where the third wave is, which depending on the timing of everything. To have a fourth wave play out, we could come up and get tagged that 18.6 to $19,000 range, correct back down for the fourth, and then continue up for a fifth. That would be one potential play, or depending what we're looking at as well. Let's see here. Yeah, and then actually, we do have that 1.618 overall, which would be the expanded pocket for this three wave, which would be up here at basically 21.5. Would roughly be what we could be potentially looking at for a B wave, and then potentially correcting back down. One other possible scenario is this right here actually would potentially be a wave one. This would be a two, and then looking at possibly starting a third going up, and then a fourth back down, and then another fifth on just an overall higher scale. But regardless, I would still put us at the 1.618. So that would potentially be a pretty good zone of interest and a little bit of a longer term. However, with this looking at a potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, getting us up to the 21, if this is an impulsive wave. So right now, near-term targets, we got to get over. We got to get that 17.2, and then ultimately really kind of looking for that 18.6 with us surpassing the resistance that we had at 14.5. So let's dive on to the daily here. And yeah, I mean, no divergence or anything like that on the weekly. So let's take a look at the daily scale. So you can see the daily we're actually sitting above our R3 on the daily, and right at that 1.236 that we were looking at before. But being that we're above the resistance on the daily and kind of consolidating, that's fairly bullish. And then even right here, you can see that if you're looking at some of my other videos before, we were getting kind of squeezed in here, looking ultimately to make a decision. Well, it looks like we made a decision for the most part. We did move back above that fast EMA. And what I'd like to do, if we still hold this position here, is if we start to continue up a little bit, we have our fast and our slow EMA bounce off of each other. And let me go back and let's find a couple places where we've done that. So we have a bounce off of it right here. So kind of similar to potentially what we did back here. Actually, right here is a great one. Where we had our fast EMA and our slow EMA just bounce off of each other. But RSI did move back below that, but here we'd had a bounce off of it and continue higher, and that potentially would be able to create that divergence ultimately for a daily time frame, to have that play out and have a little bit of a correction. So kind of pretty just consolidation, pretty crazy from just this run up where we haven't had a lot of resets. It's just been on its own tear. So ultimately, that's what if we have that bounce. I'd look for another test up here on the volume band to potentially break out of it on the RSI. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into. Let's look at the 16-hour real quick. And you can see 16-hour actually had a really nice tag up here on the 16.5. Actually, I did jump in a short up here at the 16.5. Held that for a little bit, but being that we kind of came back down and had a little bit of a bounce, especially on the smaller time frame. I'll show you what I was looking at. I did exit that. So kind of waiting to see what kind of reaction we get here before I jump into another position. Not a big fan of going into stuff over the weekend, but that was, a pretty pretty bullish recovery just in regards to the bounce from it. In regards to, we really didn't see any kind of correction down whatsoever. If we did have, looking at this as a potentially 1, 2, and this would basically be our 1, 2 going up for the third, and then fourth and a fifth. So if we did play this guy here, so if this is a wave 1, and then back down, you can see we already tagged the 1.618. And if we did have, I'm just trying to count the wave structures in here, being that we're above it. The only possible scenario and the only thing that really makes sense on a wave structure is basically that if we started like right here, so this would be our 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 right here. But even with this little next, other pump up, it doesn't make a ton of sense. So it'd almost have to be like a 1, 2, like a 1, 2, third right here. So it'd have to be the third, and then going up again for the fifth. Yeah, so that would have to be the end of the third right there at the 1.618, and then looking to make a move up for the fifth wave, depending if it gets overextended. So that's something we got to pay attention to as well. So if this is the third, that was the fourth for the correction, moving up for the fifth, which we could start looking at the roughly the 2.236 around 17.8, which is actually right above that R3, which is right here on the 16-hour as well. So we do have that R3 zone, which is right at that 2.236. So that's actually fairly decent in regards to a confluence point. So right here in this pocket, if we do break the R2 at 16.5, I would be looking for a move back up to 17.7 as a fifth wave projection. So basically, move that back down. It would look more like this here. Boom, 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 boom. Something along those lines like that. And then if that is the case, I'm actually going to redraw that because that's not what it would be. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this guy here, we would have the third wave finishing here with the fourth wave back down, and then another fifth wave up. And that would get us up towards that 20K mark. So roughly something like that. I'll change the color of this one, make it stand out a little bit better. Not yellow, because I already used yellow. How about blue? All right. So that's roughly what I would be looking at here as we move in, potentially throughout the weekend, as we go through and we continue with this move up. Just something paid attention to, but the big one is really breaking that 16.5 that we did have some resistance at, breaking that and closing a pretty decent candle above that. That I would start looking for 17.7 for the next move up. As you can kind of see, we are getting divergence here on the 16-hour, where we are getting lower highs on the RSI, higher highs on the price. And we actually did have a pretty recent cross of these EMAs as well. So that's something that I always like to pay attention to, where these fast and our slow EMAs cross. What I potentially be looking at is this green one, the fast EMA, as it moves up, RSI bouncing off of that, and with price continuing to go up. And that's typically what we'd see in regards to we would end up having the third wave come up, and then fifth wave finish up here roughly, touching the volume band, creating that divergence, and then reset and go into a fourth wave. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the 16-hour, and let's just drop to the 4-hour real quick. Get a little bit more on the micro scale here. All right. So yeah, that's that resistance point. Overall, just looking at the wave structures. Overall, I mean, consolidation here, potential for the fourth wave. But yeah, ultimately going to end up breaking that. So other indicators, we would need to get back above that fast-moving EMA there. Let's just look at the overall at the 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour's got room. Got plenty of room. You can even see just how much we reset on this little dip here. The RSI completely reset. You can see it bounced right off of the 45 to test the bearish control zone. And what I'd like to see if we're going to go up higher, this is just to kind of, again, see this RSI just kind of bounce off of this fast-moving EMA for it to cross back up. Market Liberator, I actually have a fresh cross for a buy signal here. Money flow is in. So yeah, things are overall looking pretty bullish, even as we get down to some of these smaller time frames. Every little pullback we get, the indicators almost completely reset. So small time frames, if you're looking for anything in regards to scalps, I mean, this is an pretty easy one, utilizing my #1 trading strategy in regards to just looking for divergence and these resistance and support zones. So that is ultimately, if you guys have not watched the video, that is ultimately a great strategy. It's super consistent. It's something that's measurable. And yeah, even on the 15-minute here, coming down, testing the edge of the bearish control zone again, and the volume band. So I'll be looking for a potential bounce on this guy to try and break that 16.5 resistance that we were at earlier. So ultimately, that's what I'm looking at, guys. From where we have set new highs, we're not really at a point where I'm going to see or where I'm looking for a hard rejection at the moment. Just overall, the only possible scenario could be looking at, and let's just pull it real quick to see if it is even possible. And it is. So the only possible scenario would be looking at is really to have this as a expanded B pocket, which would basically get us to that 16.6, which would put us as really just a wick through that resistance and then back down. But if that's the case, then we'd be looking at this overall as your A. This would be your B, and then back down for the C for, I guess, a little bit of a larger correction here, which if you kind of see where we pulled the fibs, it is definitely possible, being that this would end up being a third, where the fibs match, this would be a third wave. This would be a pretty short correction for a fourth, but again, with how bullish it is, it's very possible. And then this would basically have a three-wave move in here like so. And then this would be the third, or the three-wave for the B. So that's what I was saying before. If we get above that 16.5, 16.6, I'd want to see it close above it to show that at least a 2-hour to 4-hour close above it, just to show that we're holding that resistance zone into a support zone. But if we could just get a quick move up, if this is ultimately an expanded B pocket, I would look for another 5-wave move down. And if we did get that 5-wave move, I would then be targeting, let's get up there to here, potentially a 1-to-1 back down to 15K. Ultimately can go back down to 14 flat. So super bullish. We would bounce off of 15.6, I would say. It's the 618, and then I'll be, if we go past that, looking for 15. And then ultimately extremes down for a potential C wave would be 14,050, somewhere around there. So all potential scenarios ultimately pretty bullish. So you always want to be aware of a bull and a bear scenario, but ultimately that is what I'm looking for here in the near term future. At least looking for another retest up here of the 16.5 to 16.6, and then see again what kind of reaction we get here to see if we get that C wave back down, and then that would set us up for another reset of the indicators and the oscillators, for another potential move back up for a 5th wave, which could get us to that 17.7, at least for what I was looking at before. And then that would ultimately be the larger 4th wave that would be another chance to enter into along. So all in all, guys, that's what I'm looking for. So hopefully you guys like my content. Hope to see you guys in the Discord. But remember, smash the likes, hit that subscribe button, comment below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.